Tommy Shaw, and on today's channel what I'll be doing is going over RRSP'S or tax-free savings accounts. Which is better for you? A little about me just to start. I am a real estate owner, buy and hold strategy, a stock, ETF investor. I studied in finance. Remember to subscribe. Many more videos to come, posting at least once a week. Content will be on investing, saving, and increasing awareness. So what are the factors that you should consider before going to which one is better for you? What is your goal? Is it for retirement? Is it to save money short term? Is it money to save money for the next 10 years? So your goals are going to determine which vehicle is better for you. Your salary, how much money are you making right now? Because if you're making $60,000 to $70,000 a year, well, there's a great chance that your tax bracket will be a lot higher than if you're making in $35,000. But you also have to remember in which city or province are you living in, because each province in Canada will have a different tax system. Okay, there's a tax for the federal and there's a tax for your tax income on the province you're living. Ways to make money inside the vehicle, because there's many ways to make money. You can make capital gains or you could do it by dividends, and both of them are not taxed at the same level. Your goal. So for retirement and or for growth without income tax, which one do I prefer? Well, first of all, let's start with which one do I prefer and why do I prefer the RRSP. Well, investing in stocks can be risky, and for me, in my mind, knowing that I will save 38.4% when I'm investing in the stock market, when I'm investing inside my RRSPs, I know this reduces my risk. It reduces the risk because if I'm putting in $5,000 and if I would have went into a tax-free savings account and I would have put $3,000 because I would have had to pay taxes before going inside the vehicle, well, this, for me, it reduces the risk, because if the market goes down 38.4%, either way, I would have had to pay that money to the government. So now when I'm going inside my RRSPs, I'm saving 38.4%. This makes my money more valuable. And if the market goes down, in my mind, it's less risky, because if it goes down 38.4%, I will break even. And the second reason is because while my portfolio grows from a bigger amount, instead of investing $3,060, I can invest $5,000 before taxes. So I consider this factor as a form of leverage. Instead of having $3,000 working for me, I'm having $5,000 working for me. So there's a big difference of making 7% on $5,000 or $3,000. The third reason is inflation. By the time that I will have to pay back those taxes at retirement, inflation would have eaten that amount by practically 90% of its value. When you look over a span of 30 years, usually inflation eats away about 90% of that value. That means everything costs 10 times more. Even though at retirement you will need to pay those taxes as when you're withdrawing your account, will lose some benefits from government, old age. Okay, you have to remember that at retirement, you will need to pay taxes on the revenues when you withdraw from your account RRSPs, because you have to remember that that's going to be accounted for revenues from a salary, earned income. It's going to count as earned income. We'll lose some benefits because when you have an earned income at retirement, you lose benefits from the government, like old age pension, if they still exist in the future. Which situation do I prefer? A tax-free savings account. Maxed out your RRSPs or have a low income. The advantage, the money inside does not get taxed when dividends are given, and if it's not taxed when capital gains are made, and finally when you withdraw, no source of income is added in your income for tax purposes. So all the money that you make during the process of accumulating money in your tax-free savings account is never taxed, because all the money that you put in, it was after taxes, and all the money that's inside the vehicle, your tax-free savings account, is going to be even all the dividends, capital gains, and when you sell at the end and you take out your money, there's never no taxes. It's not added to your sources of income, and the government won't remove your pensions, your old age pensions, so you'll be able to keep your money, your sources of income from the government at retirement. Sources, remember, not at retirement, but at the age you qualify to have old age pension. Like, it depends, you can have it at 60 years old or 65 years old. Sources of income. This is another factor that a lot of people don't consider, is that your sources of income will determine what amount of money that you're taxed, okay? And remember, capital gains, you don't have to pay capital gains until you sell. When you sell, like say you buy a stock, Apple stock, and you sell it in 40 years and it never gives any dividends, you won't have to pay taxes until you sell. So, and when you sell, it's going to be considered capital gains. So capital gains is not taxed at the same level of an earned income. Earned income, let's say your earned income is 38.4%. Well, when it's capital gains, you only need to pay 50% of your tax bracket. So this is an important factor to remember, because if you're investing for the long term, sometimes you're better off, to go inside the tax-free savings account into your tax-free, exactly, because you won't have to pay that capital gains and you won't have to pay all the taxes. And earned income is taxed according to your province/country. I said that a while ago. Dividends are taxed according to two factors. There's qualified and unqualified dividends, because people that have incorporations and they give themselves a salary through dividends, well, they wanted to simulate the same reality as having a earned income inside that or corporation, so people don't take advantage from one way to another. But I still think that it's better to have dividends than paying yourself with a salary, because you need to pay so many other benefits to the government. But you always need to consult with a CPA or a financial planner, because there's so many factors. Like, I'm trying to simple down this process so people can understand, but always consult with a great CPA or a great financial planner and work with them to see which one is better for you, and try to understand how money comes in doesn't have the same value. According to financial books, RRSP'S and tax-free savings should be equivalent in the long term. Well, for me, when I look at the example, I think they do it too simplified, and it's not really the same thing, because when you're comparing them, it depends on how you're going to remove your money at the end. You're not going to take all your $1 million at retirement and use it right away. You're not going to take it out your RRSPs one shot and get taxed at the maximum amount. That would be just plainly, wouldn't make no sense, okay? And that's how they compare it in financial books. So example, compare RRSPs and tax-free savings accounts. So let's say you make $60,000 a year, you're taxed at 40%, taxes at retirement 45%, and invest $5,000 per year for 30 years. So the first example is inside that tax-free savings account. Remember, to have access to $3,000, you need to earn $5,000, because your tax income is 40%. So you're going to have to earn $5,000 after taxes. Then you save that $3,000. You put it inside the tax-free savings account. It grows for 30 years, invested in S&P, average return 7.5%. So the total amount you would have accumulated is $310,000 tax-free. If you remove all that money one shot, you don't have to pay any taxes on that money, because it's inside the tax-free savings account. Now, let's continue with the RRSPs. You're saving $5,000 per year, and the same example, you're accumulating for 30 years and inside invested in S&P 500, average returns 7.5%. So you would have accumulated $516,000. The taxation will be, it will change depending on how you take that money. If you only take 5%, you're living on your interest. In reality, you're making $25,000 a year. It will be added to your income, and like we said before, it will be taxed at 45%, so you're left with $14,000. In this example, we're not taking out any principal. We're only taking out the interest because you invested at a 5% interest per year. So you're essentially living on your money. So all that money is inside that program, and then after a while you can always convert that money into another regime to not get taxed at the maximum. So this is why I personally feel that the RSP is a little bit better than the tax-free saving account. Other strategies, well, you have access to property regime. You could take your money inside your RRSP'S and buy a home with it. If it's your first home, you never bought another home, you never used this regime before, you have access to this money. And all that money that you go get inside your regime, you don't have to pay any interest on that money. All you have to do is repay your regime in the next 2 years, and then you will have 15 years to pay the total amount. You'll just take 1 out of 15 times the amount that you take in. Let's say it was $15,000. Well, every year you're gonna have to pay $8,000 back to your regime. Or if you don't pay it back, what will happen is that it's gonna be accumulated, it's gonna be added as a source of income, so you're gonna pay taxes on that amount. Conclusion: both programs are good, but you will need to consult a great financial planner to get the best out of your finances, and especially a great CPA, a good accountant, to really help you get the most out of your money. And remember to leave comments if you think this was clear or missing information. I could always do another video to make it clearer, or maybe all the information that you needed was in this video. So remember to subscribe, hit that notification bell. I'll be posting pretty much every week. I'll be posting content on financial planning, some financial success, and just the mindset to get to get some success. So that will be it for today. Remember to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and thank you. Have a nice day.